Greetings and salutations, one and all. Welcome to part 2, the Siege of Middenheim. I'm glad you all could be here. It's going to be a fantastic session. We're getting slightly bit of a late start because I was busy doing some things around the house and I just lost track of the time. But that's okay. We're going to power through it. Glad you all could be here. For those of you that might be new to what this is the ending of Arc 2. We've decided to put it in its own little category because it seems like everything's been kind of building up to this, and I want to make it its own kind of epic adventure tale encapsulated in these 5 to 10 sessions. So, with that being said, you're now watching part number 2 of that. In the first part, we had some craziness happen, some avatar demons were summoned, and it was all very climactic, and there was a big kind of drawn-out battle ensuing. So, with that being said, this shouldn't be any new information for anyone who's seen anything before. It has all the same characters that you know and love, has all the same enemies and friendlies that you know and love, but for those of you that may be new to this, it is its own little adventure arc that I've designed for my players to kind of end out their campaign that they've been running. So, don't worry, this is not the end of it, but we're going to be starting with a new arc after this is completed, maybe with some new characters, maybe a new little a story to flow down. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the second part of Siege of Middenheim. Let's talk to our players and see how they've been doing.
Yesterday, I needed 3 hours of sleep today.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hey.
Fantastic. I've heard 3 of you. Good.
Oh, hello.
I'm glad everybody could be here. Welcome, everybody. Glad you can make it. Sorry, I was a wee bit late today.
Son of a bitch, how dare you.
Yeah, true.
Don't you know the stakes?
I do know the stakes, yes. Also, Will, glad to see you're awake and here on the correct day.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
So, I think that today, let's go ahead and jump into it and briefly talk about how we've been the past week. So we'll start from the bottom today. Liam, how have you been, sir? Tell us all about your life.
Howdy. Nothing particularly exciting to talk about, just still waiting on a lot of stuff. Confirmed that my best friend is going to be moving to a different city in a couple of months. So that's not great, but yeah, still waiting to hear back on that job because they are really slow, but at least they admit it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, yeah, at least they admit they're slow, right?
Yeah, it's something.
At least they're not dishonest. Well, that's fantastic. Anything else besides that slowness that you are agonizingly working your way through?
No, I've been reading up on more systems as part of that whole trying to figure out what might work for a bending campaign type of thing. Currently learning about Burning Wheel at long last after hearing named many times but never actually playing it.
Oh boy.
I've heard that Burning Wheel is very GM dependent. It puts a lot of pressure on the GM to make things happen.
I can imagine.
Yeah,
I mean,
because like
so far
the
it doesn't
systems
look.
for different things to do.
Yeah, so far it doesn't look that drastically different from D&D, but reading the book, I do kind of want to fight the author.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the author of Burning Wheel is certainly
Well,
interesting.
It's okay.
individual.
You don't necessarily have to validate it. I'm perfectly happy being unnecessarily belligerent on my own. Anyway, that's where I'm at.
No, I was distracted. I apologize.
No, it's okay.
But I agree with you. I think that a lot of people have that disgruntlement about his writing in general. Although I've heard Mouse Guard is like Burning Wheel light, and so
Yeah.
yeah, so it's the same like system, but a lot of the spokes and crap that he talks about are trimmed out. So
Interesting.
um
Put that on the list as well.
yeah, that's at least what I've heard. That's fantastic. I hope that you find the correct system to play a bending game. That seems fantastic. Megan, hi, hello.
Hi, hello. I'm glad that the first time I was on time, everybody was late. It's fine, whatever. It's cool.
I mean, there's first time for everything.
You're not wrong. It's true. I'm good. My week was busy. I'm finally getting back to having to do things and not being on vacation. Just dumb.
Ew.
I know, right? So I had to go to like 2 professional developments Monday, Tuesday, and then I've been going into work a little bit this week to try to get ready for next week because I start work on Monday again. Sad face. I was just talking to one of my best friends, and I don't know if, well, those of you who live in the States know about the like 780 whatever $1 million Powerball that somebody just won. It was my best friend's estranged aunt who won it. So that's been kind of
specific.
fun and interesting to talk with her about because the person who won it bought it from a place that was like 15 minutes from where I live, which is kind of cool and crazy and weird. But yeah, so that was interesting, I guess, kind of tidbit of the day. But yeah, I don't know. Not a whole lot else to talk about, I guess. I've been watching anime a lot.
Oh.
Yep. That's about it.
That's all I have to say about that. That's my comment about watching anime a lot. Fucking Will.
Yeah, it's true.
Why Will? Is Will to be blamed for this?
He knows why. He knows why.
But is he
Well.
going to share why?
He better.
I still don't get what you mean.
Oh my god. Flabbergasted Will is best Will.
Well, think about.
Oh,
Oh yeah, hey, it's so easy.
oh, holy crap. Okay, now I know what you mean.
Do you feel better now, Will?
100%. Holy crap. Oh, fuck. Holy
I'm
shit.
still confused. Also, more so by this reaction.
So, there's a character in an anime called Assassination Classroom.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
that-
Go on.
And the protagonist is a boy, but basically dresses up like a girl.
Yeah, cross dresses, we get it.
Yeah.
He is super
But-
cute.
he is.
Adorable, but also it is clearly a female voice actor. So
Oh,
that's
yeah,
also
Right.
a thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is whatever, but like, come on.
100% female voice actor. And
Oh,
like
yeah.
So, like,
Right.
last week they said, hey, does the story explain why, if this is a boy or a girl? And I said, yes, it will later on. And so then, like, just last night, Jordan just messaged me saying, it's a boy! It's a boy! And I'm
Oh,
like,
that's what he meant.
Oh,
I
there's-
said, what the hell? Like,
That makes so much sense now.
I'm glad someone understands what the hell's going on.
yeah.
Okay,
That's a
yeah.
lot of inside shit. Jesus Christ.
So
It's like Jordan sipping Inception, just where it go.
so the difference here is what the only context that you're missing here, Jericho, is and I called you by your character name, but that's fine.
I'm honestly okay with that.
It's basically just you in general. The only context you're missing here is it was so set up that the show actually made a comment about it. Like, the characters in the show went, "Oh, you are a boy." That's how
Okey-doke.
set up the joke was.
It's like Hideyoshi.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
So it's a great show, though.
yeah.
I'm
heard good things.
Enjoying it certainly. But yeah, that was the joke I played on Will because he had apparently no idea what I was talking about.
No, he did not. He was extremely confused.
Oh yeah.
I hope I distracted him from dominating a duck game too.
I won
it was,
duck
It was
game.
honestly a close between him, Matt, and Jackson. I was behind for good reasons, mind you.
Yeah, you suck.
Yeah, that's a good reason to be fair.
I'll blame it on the alcohol.
Oh, sorry.
That was
No?
the joke.
No one. Okay,
That was
good.
that was the joke. I
Okay.
tried setting it
Good.
up.
Brian, why don't you tell us about your week? Tell us what's going on.
Oh, man.
You know, I'm much different than you.
Okay,
weird
skip
people.
me. Thank you.
I'm pretty normal. Nothing
We're
special
working from the
happened.
bottom, Jackson, but good try.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Got a new headset. The headphones are freaking amazing.
Are you speaking through the microphone?
I am.
You sound a little bit different, certainly.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jackson said it's a bit lower quality, but hey, as long as it doesn't sound like a $5 mic, I don't really care
Yeah, you
because I
downloaded
can't
$2
hear
$3
anyone
mic.
talking to me. That's fine.
No, but what headset you got?
Let me find the box and I'll get back to you on that.
All right.
They're nice. I like them. They're pretty.
Did you spend good moolah on them?
I spent like $25.
That's not good moolah. You
Enough
gotta
for
go
me.
a step deeper.
Oh,
Alright.
they're Logitech G230s.
No,
recorded
pussy shits.
ones.
But anyways, good
they're
for you.
great.
Good for you.
Logitech makes good stuff.
I also use a like 10-year-old mouse from them, and it is my best gaming mouse to date. Has 4 buttons. 4.
Yeah, they tend to make their mice pretty, or actually technically mouses. They tend to make their mouses pretty sleek and very non-razor.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I like my simplicity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's good.
Just
Fantastic.
ready for today. Hope I don't fall off any more walls. That's all.
I also hope you don't fall off anymore. But I can't guarantee anything.
Neither can
well.
I.
Will, hello.
Hello. My week's been alright. The royal family is out visiting other branches of family, like all this
Good.
week, so...
Royal family seems to take a lot of trips and also leave you behind.
Yeah.
Well, he's the secret prince, right?
Right, true.
Yeah, that's...
So that's kind of necessary.
He's
The bastard child.
He's like the designated survivor, right? Like,
Yeah,
if
Yeah.
the entire royal family goes down, he steps in.
he becomes the new queen.
Correct.
Yes. That's
Delicious.
exactly how it works.
Good.
Yeah, it means that I can wear pants a lot less often, which is...
I don't understand this at all. I don't understand why not wearing pants is such a big deal. I'm not gonna lie.
What do you mean you don't understand?
I mean, not wearing pants is pretty awesome, to be
Yeah,
fair.
it is. It's amazing.
Again, I
think
don't
that is
understand. It's
definitely a gen-
This is another one of those things where you and I are the only one who. Yeah, it's you and me, Megan, over
Thank
on this
you.
side, and then the rest of the
It
world.
is
Against
great,
the
but I
world,
don't
right?
practice
Yeah.
it often.
I'm okay with this.
I am completely naked from the waist down right
All
now.
right, well, I
We
didn't
need
even
to
know
know
all
well,
that.
I-
That's a
that's
little
information I
gross.
did not need to
Good.
know.
TMI.
Good.
To be honest, I've kind of assumed that since like session.
Yeah, no, I actually just assume you play naked in your dorm room. Too. That's a good point.
Yeah, I make
Like-
my roommate really uncomfortable.
Yeah, no,
Fantastic.
yeah, 100% I believe that.
Mhm.
With beyond a shadow of a doubt.
Canon.
Gross. Jackson, how's your
So
week
what's
been?
up?
Also, what are you putting in your mouth?
Beer.
Also,
And
Phrasing.
oh yeah, and chicken nuggets.
the phrasing was correct.
Okay. Yeah, so started grad school this week. Got moved in. Was told that I will be teaching a class next semester, so I got to figure out how to do that.
Plot twist. You weren't expecting that?
Plot twist. Yeah, that's a plot twist, all right.
Like,
Well,
have
here's
they
the thing.
not?
Do I ever seem like a credible source for anything?
Good point.
You're concerningly good at convincing people that you're a credible source. I keep trying to stop them, but they listen to you anyway.
Yeah, that's actually true, Jackson. You are really good at convincing people of things. None of us here take your bullshit anymore, though. That's the difference between us and everybody else you associate with.
Do you think I can bullshit them for about a semester while I feed them lies?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I have no intention of teaching them anything.
Yeah, I mean, here's what you do,
That's
Jackson.
the outlook we needed from Jackson.
You
You're
just
basically like 50% of most college professors. Then.
Yeah, no, 100%. Exactly what I was going to say is by not teaching them anything, you'll actually be better than half of the college professors.
Yeah.
Because
Now,
half of the
here's
college
the deal.
professors teach them the wrong stuff.
I am a college professor assistant. I'm a teacher's aide, so...
That still means you teach classes. Like, that actually means you teach more classes than the professor.
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah,
I was a
know.
TA.
Yeah.
They never let me teach anything.
Do all the shit work too.
You're also
Yeah.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Well, also,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
graduated.
no, I was stuck like tutoring and marking.
I
Yeah, me too.
graduated.
I never taught when I TA'd.
Yeah,
What's
I
the
graduated with a 3.94, so...
I'm just going to go ahead and
Nice.
throw it out there that that must be a southern thing, though, because all colleges in Florida, if you're a TA, you're basically a teacher. Like,
It kind of is like that, because there aren't that
Yeah.
many teachers down here, to be honest.
yeah, like,
So it's kind of like I have,
the only time I ever saw any of my professors was during a lecture. That was it. All the rest of the class time was purely spent with TAs.
Yeah. Kind of like that. Moved into my new place.
Oh yeah, how's that going? Did everything work out nicely for you?
Yeah. Got yelled at, but other than that, I'm fine. Got my shit set up.
Jackson, when do you not get yelled at?
You're gonna have to give me a minute on that.
Yeah, okay, so while we do that, Dalton, hi, hello.
Hi.
Good morning. I think you and I heard you saying when I first jumped in that you get about 3 hours of sleep. I'm right there with you. Apparently, I am also very, very tired, so hopefully I'm just gonna talk and not drone on too much.
I have now finished a 40.
Excellent.
I like when you drone on, Jordan. Just so you know.
Yeah,
Just
we
by the way.
generally enjoy it, but it's because we allow it. That's why.
Correct.
But anyways,
And also, I can just mute you.
yeah.
Yes, tell us
A
about it.
lot of shit, and by shit I mean like just a lot of stress-inducing shit with relationships and jobbing and my house getting infected with scabies. Fun stuff. So essentially, we have to nuke our own house to make sure that these fuckers are gone into oblivion. So,
Wait, are those the ones that like burrow into your skin and shit?
yep,
Ah!
Yes.
yep.
Correct.
Now, me and my sister are infected, so thank God for that. Like, we don't have them yet. The thing is that the yet is the key part. So what we're doing is taking the precautions of essentially bleaching anything that can be bleached besides, clothing, because we're just gonna power wash that shit. And by power wash, I mean
Burn it.
kill it with hot water and possibly bleach, maybe, who knows, and a lot of other things, just essentially power cleaning the entire house. And then apparently we are going to get exterminators for the shit as well. And I'm like, god damn, we ain't stopping for nothing. So it's fun. It's really
I
fun.
would have to move.
But yeah, I'm like
A little strange, don't you think?
No.
Mhm.
No, not at all.
But in other news, as I was laying in my bed, I looked up to the ceiling, saw a spider crawl on it, and I was like, "Hey, Spidey, what you doing up there?" And then I killed it. So, there you go, Megan. Won the spider to worry about. Finger guns.
So your house now currently has spiders and scabies. Yeah, I'd have to move. There's
Get them to
no
fight
point
it
in
out.
that.
One of my
Should
favorite
I tell the
pastimes.
story? Should I ever tell the story about how I got a spider in my hair and crushed it?
Yes.
That's all
Yes,
over
you
my
did,
hair.
and
Yes.
I
Gross.
didn't appreciate it. Very much.
One of my favorite pastimes is actually to find spider pictures, like adorable looking spiders, and just save them to a hard drive that eventually, when I want to nuke my friendship with Megan from orbit, I just send all of them en masse. Through
Now,
various
by
means.
adorable, do you
You
mean
got
like
weird
the most
hobbies.
terrifying? The
No.
most
I mean like the little cute ones that like
Oh, the jumping
dance
spiders.
and jump. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, that is not that doesn't go together. Cute
Listen,
and spider are
just
not.
Google-
that's not how that
Google
works.
cute
No,
spider.
no, I will not Google spiders. That's not something that I will do.
Spooters.
All right, give me a
I
second.
think
I'll
they're
do it.
adorable.
Oh, those little guys.
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
not that-
They
they're not
dance
that
and
bad.
shit, man. It's great.
They're not that bad. See,
Uh,
I was thinking of like
Spiders now,
big
I
ass
think.
tarantula looking motherfuckers eating some shit.
no,
Those
so
look
like
cute too. Just saying.
All right, don't worry, Megan. I'll post this on General Chat
Oh
for
no,
you.
she muted herself. She deafened herself. She gone, mate.
goodbye
She gone.
forever. Goodbye forever.
But
I'll miss you.
I won't.
yeah.
Just so everyone's aware, that was payback for making fun of us all for being late. In case anyone was
I was
unclear as
here.
to what that was for.
But all in all, that's what I'm dealing with, as well as potentially starting up a new game. Because my old game I found out I didn't like, and I'm gonna see if I can do more of like what 5e is designed for, which is essentially dungeon grinding. So,
Yeah.
very what am I describing? Like Tower Jiraga type of feel to it. So,
What, like really episodic?
like they go into the dungeon, they can leave, and then when they go back in, it's not the same type of thing.
I need
That's
to
cool.
watch Tower of Draga.
So,
It's been on my list for fucking ever.
it's not too great, but it's all right. You know, it's a watch.
Like-
show?
Is
Yeah,
it a good like D&D anime?
Kinda, yeah. That's how I found it to be. Personally, I love God, I forget his name, but he's essentially the sassy, smartass one, so fits perfectly.
Because is it like Grimgar?
No, I don't think it's remotely close up.
Grimgar was good.
Yeah.
I mean, Grimgar is good. I feel Draga. It has its place. I'll say that it has its place.
Yeah.
So
So it's more fantasy than it is realistic.
yes, I'm trying to think of who I'm trying to think of. But yeah, anyways, that's me, and that's what I've been dealing with this week. So finger guns, let's kill that demon avatar.
Well, before we get to that, I have also been watching Assassination Classroom. I am disappointed in the second arc intro. It's not nearly as good as the first arc
Yes.
intro.
Agreed.
6.5 out of 10.
Indeed.
At a
Quite.
maximum. However, that show does have some strange qualities, just like most anime, I guess, in general. Somehow they keep making me feel bad for an alien who's killed millions of people.
Because he's such a good teacher.
He has not killed millions of people, okay?
Yet.
Also, have you read the backstory on him yet?
No.
Don't give
any-
spoilers, I swear to God.
Jackson, when have I ever been interested, or have you known me to read anything?
Oh shit! Yeah, I forget.
I don't have time for manga. I have time to have anime playing in the background while I prep my 3 games that I have
Well, now I have some to threaten
How
Megan
do-
with.
Wait, how do you even do that? Or do you just watch dub all the time?
He just knows Japanese.
I-
It's fine.
Again,
He's just fluent in Japanese.
so first of
BTM.
all, don't judge. I might be. Second of all, I do
Judge.
traditionally prefer dubs so that I can watch it in the background.
Hey, that guy.
You bitch.
First of all,
Dubs forever.
I bet if there was a dub of Assassination Classroom, okay, I bet the voice actor's a boy, and that would make me fucking happier.
Doubt. Large
no.
doubts.
I'm about to look it up for you.
It's literally such a central thing to the character that he's so ambiguous.
And then,
Or androgynous, sorry.
second of all, I bet I get way more shit done than anybody who watches subs. Also, if I'm watching subs, I can actually read most of and get the gist of a scene just by observing it and not having to read every word anyway.
Very true.
So, I generally don't read sub words most of the time. I just kind of get the gist of it and understand what they're talking about and what they're saying.
How dare you? How
He
else
does
will you
speak
understand what's...
Japanese.
How dare you try to say that? Don't you know the convoluted plot that's happening in Dragon Ball Super right now?
First of all, there is not a single anime that has a convoluted plot ever.
Dragon Ball Super
That's
will
not
make
true.
it fucking
That is
never.
not true. Have you watched The
Uh,
Melancholy of
it's-
Haruhi Suzumiya?
It's
Oh god, yeah,
100%
that was
true,
like, what
first of
the
all.
fuck?
That depends heavily on what order you watch it in.
The
Oh, yeah,
correct
the-
order, of course.
The release order.
Yes.
Sounds vague.
Lindsay Sado.
Anyways, Jordan, to answer your question, yes, it is done by a female. So, how?
That's unfortunate then. I would have preferred it be an actual female character. And like that dresses as a boy, because I feel like that would have been way more interesting of a character than the other way around.
But that's often been done before, and like
Who cares? It's all hot.
it is. Oh crap!
What did you just say?
Of course, Jack.
So how about
Of
that
course.
demon avatar?
Yeah.
Wow. In addition to that, had third session now of Star Wars, so that's kicking off just nicely. Finally got some people to not be all stiff and janky and figure out how to play an RPG with each other, so that's always good. So
Is that like a stab towards the group?
no, they're a great group. It's very clear that nobody really knew how to act around each other yet, and now we're starting to finally work that out.
It was like the beginning of Siege.
Yeah, absolutely. Beginning of any group of people getting together for the first time ever. Yes, absolutely. So,
I don't know what you're talking about. I think we clicked perfectly.
Brian,
I don't know, man.
you are the most different person from when we started this campaign, and I can
What
prove
about
it.
me?
No, Jackson, you're literally the exact same person ever.
What are you talking about? I change. I'm dynamic. Fuckface, I'm dynamic.
I'm gonna take a drink of this real quick.
How dare you? I've changed more than anybody. Now let me grab my other beer.
No, that is
Yeah,
untrue. So jumping into the game here, now that we've sufficiently wasted a bunch of time, I'm gonna bring everybody over this map and kind of give everybody the rundown of what happened, just in case you forgot. So up in the north gate, the top right corner, was probably like the most kind of intense battling going on, where Hannibal had discovered a method via sacrificing, well, not really sacrificing some of his power, but making himself kind of well, we'll see if it happens, I guess, is what we should say.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm not too good right now, guys.
Sucks to be you.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Morella, you're also not too good.
Well, better off than him.
Because
that's remains
Debatable.
to be seen. I've been lashed twice.
Kira, Malia, Morella, and Hannibal were all engaged with this demon of ice that had risen from the profound explosion that Hannibal had caused, causing panic to kind of sweep through the streets back behind them. But as this demon rose to kind of address these the tourists that you guys had become, you turned to meet it, and Hannibal, it revealed to you that it was an avatar or aspect, or had some purposeful ties to Zinch.
The bastard.
Yeah, the trickster, right? He's the trickster god. So you wouldn't see him in this form, or an acolyte of his in this form, for any small purpose. He was either drawn here by the explosion that you caused, but you also had been warned that this might happen, or that this was, there was some push to make this happen. Which can be discovered later, obviously. So you guys were embroiled in this battle where he's swinging his giant ice sword around, and Morella got hit a few times, and Kira got hit once, and Hannibal was pelting him with spells over their shoulders, and this long, kind of prolonged battle on the bridge. Down in the eastern gate, there was I would say a trap lane for any pursuers, because Jericho and Aelin and Daniela were down there, and the intention of the three of them was to provide cover, or provide some distraction for the priest and priestess of Ulrich, of which this is their day of worship, to call down a great miracle, essentially, and rebuild the bridge, at least enough so that troops could funnel in across. Because the cool thing about the East Gate is it's undefended completely, because there's no anticipation that somebody would be able to bridge the gap where the bridge is destroyed. So, in preparation for what they assume to be kind of an onslaught once this spell begins taking place, because it's going to cause ripples. Again, when I use the word miracle, I use that quite accurately. They're basically calling upon the divine deity to, create this structure out of nothing. It may even demand sacrifice in this situation, right? Like, some of the priests and priestesses of Ulrich might burn out from doing this, from channeling this much divine energy. That is totally a thing that is possible, and a real danger for them. But the necessity drove the situation. And while this is all going on, there are some scouts and some swiftly moving troops that are moving to, take use of this bridge once it is constructed, so that they can get as many people into the city as possible before, the swarms descend upon them, essentially. So that was going on. Back there, there was some big old, fences and debris and crates kind of piled up. There was controlled water being kind of, held to wash away the streets and, sweep people off their feet. There was overgrowth, and from these vines that grows around all this, destitute area that was to ensnare people moving through, to slow them down. And there was also, a decoy magic circle, right? Jericho, you had drawn, a decoy magic circle to hopefully distract whoever is on their way, to focus on that primarily, instead of focusing on whatever else was going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, to the south gate, since we're moving around, none of the PCs were there, but we do have at least a perspective of it, in the fact that that is where the bulk of Cahill's army had marched and had charged the gate, even under the precedent that there was this demon door gate thing that was apparently alive. And I think it was discovered quite quickly in that portion of the campaign what it actually did. It appears to be like moving demons from a different plane of existence or teleporting them to this location. And unfortunately, Cahill's armies had battled to the middle of the bridge, but then had begun slowly being pushed back because of the continuous stream of reinforcements that the demons have, as opposed to the limited source of reinforcements that the Cahill's army has. So that is a concern, to be sure. And then, last but certainly not least, over in the Westgate area, is where Kree has led his Lizardman and Bear Rider troop contingents against the Westgate. Now, assailing the Westgate by yourself is not an easy task. Luckily for you, though, there have been many other distractions throughout the city, and it's probably maybe a slightly undermanned or not manned enough to anticipate an attack, and also they weren't really ready for it, so you had the element of surprise. And actively, while the Lizardmen were attempting to scale the walls and batter down the gate, Kree himself, along with Farron, had actually entered into the gatehouse and were fighting the Norseman thugs that were inside, guarding the gatehouse and preparing like boiling oil and all of that fun stuff. So they were fighting in anticipation to try and clear that out so that they could open up the gate so that their men could stream in, at least, through the gate, and they would be able to secure a foothold in that district. So I think that covered basically all of the points, with the exception, with the mild exception of each character in the game had sort of like a premonition or vision or bad feeling about this moment that we all had to endure last session, to which will become prevalent in future sessions, perhaps even this one if you guys play your cards right. But it's kind of it was the eve of battle moments, right, where you're making your last prayers or your final preparations, or maybe you're daydreaming about what you're going to do, and you all had kind of had these fears or desires or messages through your various means of magic and religion and mumbo jumbo. Which leads me to an interesting fact. I don't know if anyone else realized, but I realized this a couple weeks ago, and I don't know why I didn't bring it up last week, because that's when I meant to bring it up. But every member of this party can use magic, which is unique to us for quite some time, because Arkady was the last one who couldn't use magic. And now that Arkady is currently trying to tactically assess the situation back in Cahill's army, everybody can use magic. So you all have a little bit of sense of the arcane or the divine or the natural in Kree's example. So that will lead you to some insight, I think, for sure, in the coming days.
I mean, in 5th edition, it's hard to not make a character with spells.
Not true at all.
It's true. You're basically relegated to revised ranger, fighter, barbarian.
There's only I think two or three that don't.
And
That refers that every single one of those classes can have a magic aspect.
Yep.
Except for barbarian, right?
Barbarian can have totem casting.
I guess, sure, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Well, then
They're
also
able to cast commune.
Also, it depends on how you view monks, because monks, I guess they technically get spells too through there or whatever.
Yeah,
I suppose
think
they can.
those three all kind of fall under natural magic.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know if I would really even call it magic, to be fair. I don't think it certainly would be magic in the sense that we understand how you guys physically cast spells.
If it's not a spell in the spell book, it's not magic. That's
You
kind
tell
of
that
the
to my
level
lay on
that
hands,
5e
fucker.
kind of
They
fits
all
up.
have they all have spells that are in the spell book.
Yeah, like barbarians get like speak with animals.
Ugh,
Monks can
Yeah.
have darkness, etc.
Right. Yeah.
gross. So they're literally all magic.
Monks can cast fireball.
Tell that to champion.
But it is interesting to note.
Indeed.
Made some solid choices.
Yeah, absolutely, some solid choices. So we kind of ended. We were working through an initiative order, simply because it was convenient to kind of give everybody a place in line and an opportunity to do something. Since some of us were in combat, some of us were preparing, some of us were in like a narrative, almost a narrative combat scenario where, yeah, you're taking turns against this giant demon, but there's also like squaring off and posturing and all other fun stuff.
Yep.
So when we last left off, it was technically Jericho's turn, quote unquote, and it was also the top of the order, and it's been a couple of rounds. Which again, if we're using the system where rounds are not exact 6 seconds, because that's lame, and we like to be narratively awesome. So it's probably been about 10 minutes or so that you've been, or no, I think I said actually like 30 minutes or so that Aelin and Jericho and Danielle have been preparing all of these defenses, because that's how long it was going to take for the Ulrich members to prepare, and then it was to take them about 30 minutes to actually work their way through the magic to raise the bridge. So essentially you have to defend for now, but you don't know what from yet. I think that is probably the salient point here. And
Fine.
and I think that there are some things going to be drawn as the lights and the summoning of the magics that the priests and priestess of Ulrich delve into. It erupts, right? In this, there's probably like a long dull tone that kind of rings out over the city. Probably sounds vaguely like the howling of a wolf. And it echoes through like the caverns, and those who've been embroiled in combat and stuff probably can't hear it, but I think that with that noise kind of resounding off, maybe Aelin and Jericho and Danielle, the three of you maybe share a look like, that's somebody's gonna hear that. And I think that briefly during your kind of, Aelin, I believe you'd move to the front to kind of like maybe waylay any aggressors coming down the main street. Jericho, you were taking up like a middle position, and Daniela was taking up like the position behind, just in case there were any that slipped through the ranks. She could throw them off the bridge or whatever. And so Aelin, I think you're the first to see that emerging from the alt quarter here, in this direction, like coming out of here and heading towards the sound. There appear to be a couple of figures that are robed, and they're kind of like looking in the direction. It's clear they don't know quite what's going on, but perhaps what leads you to guess their identity is kind of following in tow behind them are a couple of shambling undead figures of various shapes, sizes, and forms. One of them looks like it's like a larger kind of patchwork style figure that stands maybe like 7 feet tall or so. Another one is there's another one has like probably 4 or 5 skeletons that are just kind of like, they have like their weapons like at their sides and they're just kind of shambling along. And then there's another one that probably has a couple of what are clearly like zombies, but also with him has a couple of those ghoulish figures from the previous week, like when you guys last fought. And these 3 individuals, one of them looks about the size of a gnome. One of them looks about the size of what you would see a Norseman that you've seen around, look basically the same stature and look. And one of them looks like a female human who is kind of like gazing out from under her hooded cloak. And you can tell they're all having a conversation, whispering, and they're beginning to approach, and you can see that like they spot these barricades and stuff in the way, and like they start like maybe getting put on edge a little bit. And so, Jericho, that's about the point that you can see them as well, kind of sort of slowly approaching the area. as they progress their turn, they might walk upon you. But you have the opportunity, being your turn in the order, to make an action here. You finally have some targets who are at least approaching, that you might be able to do something against. And as well, I want to let you know, because you guys have been like narratively using your spells and stuff like that, you're technically not concentrating on anything, none of that stuff. It's all been cool narrative. I can do magic. I'm awesome.
Cool.
You still use the spell slots though, but it's all been
that's marked.
Yeah, cool. I'm using magic because I'm awesome.
I'm trying to remember, who all do I have on hand apart from Aelin and Daniela back?
So you were able to round up probably like a couple of squads of resistance soldiers. So maybe like 10 dudes, 10 men and women, and again, they're bedecked in, maybe some of them have like cudgels and like a steel helmet. There's maybe one or two of them that were actual like fighting people before this all started.
Right. Okay.
So they're not great, but they could provide a great distraction. Certainly.
I mean, yeah, we're still, as far as I know, running with the distraction side of things as much as possible. So
Yeah.
Jericho's not planning to spark engagement. Jericho has been thinking about additional layers that he can add to his distraction circle, which I believe is still out of sight behind various barricades and stuff,
absolutely.
right?
Yeah, they're like even with Aelin right now, like at the edge, they've just arrived kind of within vision of the barricades, and they're still like approaching them. Because they're still not sure what's really even going on. They just kind of felt that residual gong, right? And they're like, what the hell was that? I need to go investigate that.
Okay, that's fine. Because Jericho's feeling pretty confident that Aelin is also not going to pick a fight. So what he's been having people do at this point is taking some of those resistance folks that you've got and just artfully arranging them around the fake summoning circle as if they have been, say, recently slaughtered while trying to perform some kind of divine ritual. And he has himself shaken his cloak up onto his shoulders and taken the guise of his nemesis, the necromancer.
Oh, okay, cool. So you want to position like some of the resistance members around the circle? Is that what you meant?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
the idea that he is going for
yeah.
here is that when someone finally arrives, he can just be the snooty kind of, there was a problem, I've dealt with it, obviously. What took you so long?
Sure. Yeah, I think that's great. With your preparation of that, you'll have a chance to like interact with them when they arrive at your location, as opposed to having to like wait until they make an action or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool,
awesome. So moving northward, we get the vision, and again we have this large, tall, hulking figure of this avatar of Zinch. And before we had ended previously, you guys had gotten the creature to where it appeared to be mild, like wounded. It appeared to like this ice, like as the wounds that you had opened up in its chest and in like its neck and stuff like that. They weren't sealing up as fast as they were, and they were dumping like a lot of that like icy cold air. So it kind of looks like he's covered in frost. Is it kind of like cascades down, and his feet are probably a bit obscured by all this frost is kind of coalescing at the base of his pauldrons, and he kind of echoes and screams a rage, and I think he screams, "You puny mortals will not end me here!" And he swings down, going to assault 3 individuals in front of him, because he's actually pretty basic. He basically just gets to attack things. That's basically his entire purpose.
Been there.
Feels good.
So he's going to swing his sword down at you, Morella. He's going to attempt to gore with his horns, Kira, and then he's going to kind of stab out with his little spiky bits of his wings at Malia. So Morella, first one's for you. Also, he stood up, right? Because he was knocked down, so he stood up.
Okay, so that's 23. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, have you raged yet?
Fuck no, dude.
He has not. The horn attack at Kira is a miss. And the wings, as they kind of envelop Malia and try to crush her.
No.
Not going to roll. Let's try again.
It did roll.
Oh, okay,
By the
good.
way.
Well,
It
wish I had
rolled
the second one.
27.
That's okay. So she takes 21 damage. Significant. So she gets bludgeoned and knocked back, and you can see like the ice kind of falls over her. She's like pushing herself to her feet, and she kind of like wipes blood from her mouth, but it's already frozen, right? So she just like breaks off a blood stalactite, right, from her mouth, and just like throws it to the ground and just shatters. And then charges in because she's a fucking badass.
In Kislev, we call this spring.
Right, exactly. It's probably what she says in those exact words, yes. So, let's go ahead and reduce her health real quick. She could take one more hit like that at the very least. But the creature doesn't have much after that. It doesn't really have a whole lot of traits or spells or actions.
Well, thank God.
So
Get it out of me.
Morella, maybe you're starting to feel the heat a little bit, except in reverse, right?
Yep.
Starting to feel the chill a little bit. Hannibal, you're still doing okay-ish.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually just 100% fine right now.
Yeah, get your ass in here.
Help.
How about no?
So that brings us to the next person in our order, which is Aelin. So Aelin, you see these individuals moving towards you. Now, you would know, it wouldn't be any surprise to you that Jericho is like, hey, I'm gonna try and like convince these people that something else is going on.
Oh yeah, no, Aelin knows the plan. She's been informed of the plan. So I think that she is going to simply lie in wait. Their aim is to simply stall as long as possible, and simply immediately going loud is not going to stall. So obviously Aelin wouldn't do that anyway. But
Yeah.
So I think she's just gonna probably ready her destroy undead until the signal from Jericho that they don't believe us anymore, and nuke them as quickly as she can. Which might be very soon, but
you say all this about how like she's not gonna go loud early, and I'm imagining even as you're saying this, and even as she's thinking it, in the background, Daniela just charging full on greatsword over her head.
Yeah.
I mean, I would imagine though, Daniela even would know the plan. But,
yeah, Daniela's probably like hiding behind some rubble on the bridge, like observing the situation.
Yeah, but also like I know last time Aelin told Daniela specifically like you're not to move from these people. Like if something gets in range of these people, then that is your job. We will try to handle it before then.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't worry. Like if anything happens to us, let it happen.
Let it happen. Like your job is keeping these people safe until their job is complete, basically. So
100%.
So that would be what I'm doing. I'm just gonna ready my nuke the undead, hopefully.
Just in case Jericho, for some ungodly reason, doesn't pass a series of checks.
I mean, it's not going to happen. It's not going to be necessary, but it's going to be there if we need it, you know? Just in case.
Monkey Farron.
So just monkey then, right?
Right.
Ooh.
Zing!
Ouch, that hurt. Good. Farron, Will, you okay?
I mean, no, it's deeply hurt me, and I feel like just kind of going into a ball and crying.
Did it hurt as
Well, this is for all the times you are incredibly savage to me, okay? No reason.
I am probably the least savage towards you.
Untrue. Jordan can back me up on this. This is completely untrue.
Hey, you guys remember that time that your other character in that other game broke every bone in their body, basically? Will?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that was because somebody interrupted the fight with a smoke bomb? You remember that? You remember when that happens?
Yeah, I do.
No,
Okay,
I'm
good.
sure he
Facts.
doesn't because his
Good.
head got hit too many times.
Good. Just,
It's fine. Continue.
I'm just making sure I have an ally in my cause upcoming. But enough
So-
distraction. Yes.
So how many guys?
Yeah, so you guys had basically taken 3 of these guys out of action. There were like 7 dudes left.
Okay.
There were like 3 of them that were I think that's wrong. I think there were 6 dudes left. There were 3 of them that were like surrounding you, Farron, and like in melee, and then 3 of them had their crossbows up and were shooting it between you and Kree, whoever was more available.
Sure.
Oh no, and then there was 1 dude in melee combat with Kree. That's what it was. Yeah, so there was 7.
Well, with 3 dudes surrounding me,
Yeah.
what else is there to do but recklessly attack them?
Yeah, so you let out a bestial roar.
Yes.
No, that was your cue. That wasn't a question.
No, I'm too upset. I'm not giving you the satisfaction.
Okay. Good. Again, just remember who made you that upset. Jesus. All right. Well,
3 hits.
recklessly attacking. Yeah, absolutely. Oops, wrong button. It is 3 hits on these guys, and
18 damage across.
yeah, and that is enough to in fact, one of them was injured already, so I think that you pick one of them, the one that was injured up, you use him to smash him into his friend, and then toss his crumpled body to the side, and his friend is kind of like nursing a shoulder, like his arm is not really moving, he maybe dislocated it, and he's severely injured as well.
Does he have a broken jaw?
No.
Shoulder?
No, just the shoulder. For now. Just again, remember why that went so badly. Anything else for Farron?
That's it for me. I can only smack things in this one. So
Good. So Noct now Kree, if you remember the scenario that we were in, you were inside the gatehouse and Noct was a little too big to come in through the door. So he was standing guard outside to like not let reinforcements come in. So he has an opportunity here to beat down on some dudes outside and maybe help your men, right? Or help your men. Like maybe he can help lift a couple more up onto the walls, or whatever Noct feels is best outside of the gatehouse to do in the like grand scheme of the battle that you're having.
Noct very much appreciates that the wall is sort of a straight line, and he likes charging at people, so that's exactly what he's gonna do.
Okay, so he's just gonna like bowl over a bunch of people like rushing at him.
Yes, archers
Excellent.
on the wall are not nice.
Right, and that's the big problem with what the battle is like raging. You've probably lost a fair amount of men and women on their mounts to the archers that are just raining hellfire and brimstone down. But yeah, 14 is enough to hit, and certainly I think that you toss a couple of Noct probably tosses one up and impales another one and throws it over him, and maybe he's growling and squaring off with another one who's like pulled out a dagger and like looks scared, like doesn't know what to do against this giant fucking wingless dragon.
Awesome. Sounds like Noct.
Fantastic.
Noct MVP.
Basically. Why does it happen that every time we all play D&D, the party pets or party NPCs become like MVPs?
That's like a core mechanic of the system.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, it started with Hedwig, right? Like that was the proprietor of everything. God, you guys remember when Hedwig killed that vampire? That shit was awesome. That's a good memory for me.
I helped.
You did. It was your rapier, to be fair.
That she wielded.
Okay, that was one of the like maybe 2, maybe 3 at most sessions bits that I missed. So
you weren't there that day? Well, shame. Yeah.
Oh no, I was there.
Oh,
but it
you just missed
continued
that
for an
part.
extra hour because.
Oh right, I think we wanted to finish.
Yep.
Good times. Good times were had by all. So yeah, Noct bowls a bunch of people over. And as we see him kind of like roar into the night, your men down below feel inspired, and they're going to try their ever best to get up to where their captain El Capitan is fighting with his stalwart beast.
Well, now I need to get a saber. Thank you.
Correct. That, I mean, if you weren't already trying, you were doing it wrong.
He has a
Not
point.
wrong.
I mean, everyone should have a saber if they ride a mount, in my opinion. That should just be
Also true.
standard.
I don't think the qualification even applies. Like, that should just be, people should have sabers.
Yeah, you know what? I agree, Liam. People should just own sabers. Make this a thing. I can't wait for the inevitable pirate campaign, guys. It's gonna be great.
Wow. Coming soon.
Hannibal, it is your turn. You stand at the
Alright.
bridge. Morella, Morella, if you were ever actually hit by this sword, you'd be dead. So basically, the extent of your injuries is like you catching the sword or like dodging and rolling and like, rolling your knee, and it's all fatigue damage because again, the sword is like the size of you. So if it actually ever hit you, you'd be dead. So I think Hannibal, what you can see Morella's injuries, like you can see her, she's breathing heavy and like her shield is lowered a little bit lower than she should have it, and she looks pretty beat up at this point. I think Kira and Malia also look like they've taken a solid punch or two. And you're standing in the back, and you have to do something, and this creature looks agitated, but also looks like it is just flagging in the slightest. What do you do?
Taste this.
Ooh.
Light. Which you already used one, by the way, just in case I forgot to. You mentioned to use one, and I think I might have forgot to mark it off.
You did. I got it.
Okay, good. A heavy Constitution saving. That's actually that's a pretty good damage roll, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Devastate.
Really good. So as is expected with an avatar of a literal chaos god, has advantage against magical effects.
Who knew?
It also has a meager +9 on its Constitution.
Can I hold on? Wait, stop. Can I use my inspiration to give it disadvantage
That is
to
not
cancel
that
that?
is not a thing that you can do.
Shit.
That's what you need the lucky feet for.
Yeah, that's specifically what the lucky feat is for.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is to do
great.
that kind of thing. So I'm going to roll, and we're all going to pray for less than 50%. Unfortunately, no. But
That's still 24.
it still takes 24 damage, which it's very clear that this thing isn't the most like resilient creature that in existence, right? Like you've been beating at it with like the normal spears that Kira and Malia have, like they've been having effect on. I mean, you are certainly causing some hurt to this, and that definitely puts the creature. I think that as you cast blight on it.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Stop. There's one more thing I forgot.
Yeah.
I need to roll a d6 for damage.
Oh yeah, roll the d6 for the hex damage.
This also is not reduced though. So one extra damage.
Good.
Perfect.
You know what? If this creature lives at 1 damage, we know that it won't be because you forgot to roll hex. So I think that what this looks like is it sees you like wind up the magic, Hannibal, and what have I ever even asked you what blight looks like? You've used the spell a bunch of times, but I forget actually what your description of how you use blight looks like. I think it's like
It's
something
basically
comes
like
from your sleeve, right? Like
Yeah, it's basically like you see Hannibal's hand through like the gloves become hollow, like bone like, and seem to refill with vitality once the smoke flows out, it envelops the target, then when it comes back, his hand seems to be back to normal.
yeah, so as like the smoke like jets towards the creature, it sees it and like brings its wings to block the effect. And the smoke can't like penetrate that kind of shroud that it has. But when it pulls it back, you can see that the wings now look a bit desiccated and brittle because of that attack, causing the damage.
Damn bitch of Zench.
Yeah, and I think that important here, Hannibal, the creature looks at you and kind of looks at the spear wielder, since they're all 3 of them wielding like spears and kind of like beating him back. He takes Senpai notices you, Hannibal.
Yes.
I will show you what true pain is.
I think not, mortal. And he might do something different on his turn.
Oh no.
Bring
But
it
Morella, before he has a chance to do that, you have a chance to do something.
Oh yeah. So, yeah. So we're gonna do a good old up.
Yeah.
He has disadvantage on these checks, by the way, which
Yep.
evens out to.
Yep.
100%.
So,
Yeah, because he's one size larger.
Yeah. Hannibal Morella synergy.
You know, his athletic checks actually aren't the greatest. They're good enough to beat that.
yep. Rolled ass.
Yeah, so he goes to beat at you, and I think like you bring your shield up, and he just like blocks it with the back of his gauntlet on his non-sword wielding hand.
And yeah, so stab it away. Here we go. Here's the first stab. Kapow.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh,
And the second stab.
Oh man, Morella is turning it up today.
Also,
Yeah.
real quick,
Minus
Jordan.
12, not minus 142. Yes.
Jordan, I forgot something.
Yes.
I need to roll Constitution.
You sure do. You sure do.
I'm going to use my Tides of Chaos for this.
Sure should.
All right.
No problem.
Oh,
That was a good Tides of Chaos, by the way.
thank you.
We might have seen what happened to Jackson. We might have seen his cost there had he not used that.
Oh my. Well, that's what I got.
Yeah, so you the creature like Morella, I think what you've succeeded in doing here is with like that's pretty significant blows to his body. I think like he turns and realizes he can't charge at Hannibal because you're too much. Yeah, you're too much of a threat right now. He can't ignore you, because you deal just as much pain as Hannibal does with his spells, right? And he knows that spells are not unlimited, right? So he knows that maybe he can, maybe if he takes you out, the caster in the back will be depleted, and he can work on that. But
he can certainly try, because I hope to kind of can't do 40 damage in one turn, so...
we shall see. Interesting.
Pray.
We'll see.
I'm praying.
Yeah, you probably should. Kree, it is your turn, sir. You're inside. You're locked in like melee with this one dude that's like right in front of you. And then last time I think 2 crossbow guys shot at you, but they both missed.
So, knowing that these guys are wimps and having a wall to still take out, I'm going to cast Conjure Animals.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And it's going to be probably 8 challenge rating quarter beasts.
I think I have a good one here. And I don't know if you're gonna like it, but I've got a good one, so there we go.
See, when you're fighting armies, greater numbers seems to be a good idea. Just maybe.
That spell is almost exclusively better to just take the 8.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Almost exclusively better just to take the 8.
Drop a whale on someone.
True, unless you want to drop an orca whale on someone. Yes, that is correct. Let me grab my monster manual here real quick.
What is this passing by my ears? I'll call it a win. Hi, win. Who wants that down below? I think I'll call it ground.
Let's be friends.